So I put off buying this game for a week because I knew it was going to take over and consume my entire life. Now, I've only played the demo for the first game, but I was instantly hooked, but I had heard that a sequel was coming, so I decided to wait. After my friend bought Dragon Quest Builders 2 for PS4 and I found out that the multiplayer was cross-platform with Switch, I had to buy it, and I've been binge playing it ever since. It's the first game in such a long time that has made me feel like a kid again, where I would wait for a game to be released, and as soon as I got it, I would just play it non-stop all day, every day, anytime I could. And Dragon Quest Builders 2 is just that good. It's that addicting, just like the first game, but even better. However, one thing has definitely been sticking out as a huge annoyance and major gripe I have with the game. There's so much text, so much dialogue, every little thing you do is followed by blocks of non-skippable text. But before we get into that, I want to talk about all the great things that this game does, because honestly, the text is really the only thing that I can find wrong with it, and everything else is just pure building joy. Compared to Dragon Quest Builders 1, the game adds a ton of new features. The first huge improvement is sprinting. It seems like such a small thing, but makes such a huge difference in getting around the map. And to add to the traversal, you even have a windbreaker, which is very reminiscent of the glider in Breath of the Wild, or the cape in Super Mario World. But these things make getting around these large sprawling islands much easier, and also means we get much bigger maps to explore. I love the way the characters move so much. It really makes me think of Dragon Ball, because the sprinting is so much like Dragon Ball. Their arms get flailed backwards, and even the sound they make as they're jumping from platform to platform sounds like Dragon Ball, and the movement feels so nice and fluid. Now, there are main islands, but you also get Explorer Shores, which is a new addition in this game. Basically, they're randomized islands where when you sail to them, you have 2 quests to complete. If you find every single item on the 2 quest lists, you can unlock 2 materials to be infinite in supply. For example, the first time I did it, I unlocked unlimited wood and unlimited dry grass, so 1 for each of the 2 lists you complete. These change every time you go to the island, and your progress does not save because the island changes every time, so make sure to collect everything on your list when you visit, otherwise you would have to start all over. I've only been able to see like very basic materials be unlocked as unlimited so far, but I imagine if I get farther in the game, these materials might be a little more useful or rare, but either way, it's still a nice addition. They also added underwater areas, which I have not explored too much yet, but I imagine there might be some underwater caves and rare materials that we can find. But for me, what was more exciting about the water was that now you can actually make running water, like rivers, you can make ponds, you can make irrigation systems for your farm, which I really don't think you could do that before. And in the very first area of the game, you have to grow sugarcane, but it needs to be submerged in water, so you have to figure out a way to create a canal to funnel the water to your field of sugarcane. Yeah, obviously this isn't super hard to figure out, but it's just cool that it's a nice layer, another complexity to add to farming and everything. So actually on one of the other islands, you get to create a river and waterfalls and shape the land to where you want the water to flow using a new item called the bottomless pot. This was one of those moments in the game that just filled me with awe as the river just kept getting bigger and bigger, and the camera would keep panning out to show me how my island looked. And it really was starting to come together. Life was starting to come to my island. It was such a cool thing to see this huge river that I created that winds around the entire island. In the first game, you may have been building lots of structures, and that is definitely true in this game, but you're also building life. You're building landscapes, rivers, ponds, forests, grasslands, mountains, etc. Water just adds a whole nother dimension to Dragon Quest Builders. I also really enjoy the screenshots that appear on the loading screens from other players. I only bring this up because I don't think it exists in any version of this game other than Switch. I think it's an important addition because it definitely helped me give me inspiration on what to build by seeing other players, awesome islands and structures and everything. So it was really nice. It's such an easy, little thing that they added, but it adds a lot to the game. Now that definitely doesn't cover all the new mechanics and everything, but I wanted to highlight the ones that definitely stood out to me so far. And obviously you're still going to get all the great features that the first game had. You know, you can cook, craft, build towns, attract people to move in, and I think structures can now be built taller than ever. Which you can see this massive large tree that I actually had to build on the first island in the game. And going along with that, the townsfolk are actually super helpful in this game because they will plant seeds, water crops, do all the farm work, and even help build these large structures like this tree if you have a blueprint and the right materials. So this big tree that I had to build, they basically built the entire thing for me. All I had to do was have the materials in a chest nearby, and they would just go into the chest and grab the materials. I'm not sure if this was in the first game or not, but it was really nice when I felt overwhelmed by this huge tree and I only had to build a certain part of it. I think I only really had to lay like 40 or 50 of the blocks in total. And obviously you're welcome to build the entire thing on your own, but I saved time letting the townsfolk build these blueprint structures so then I can spend more time building, the structures that I want to build. You're also going to get the same combat as Dragon Quest Builders 1, but you also get new enemies, new bosses, and you even get Malroth as a partner. He's constantly following you and he's actually really nice. He's not only fighting enemies and everything with you as you're traveling, but he'll also collect resources, and he has special weapons that only he can wield, and they generally have a lot higher attack power than any other weapons that you can craft for yourself or any of the other villagers. But I will say that one bad part about having him is that changing your key item is also the same button as talking, so he constantly gets in my way when I'm trying to build. I accidentally talk to him all the time when I'm trying to swap items, and it's super annoying. But all in all, this sequel is everything I could have wanted. It's the same game, but everything is expanded upon, bigger, better structures, more things to craft, new items, and a whole new story. However, I don't really care about the story anymore because of the major issue in this game, which is unskippable dialogue that occurs every time you want to do something. Now, it's a builder's game, so I wasn't really that interested in the story to begin with. I'm really only interested in the gameplay and just building things. That's the appeal for me anyways. But I always love stories in games, so when I started, I really genuinely wanted to at least, give the story a try, see if I liked it. I wanted to at least kind of know what was going on, so I tried to follow along, but as the game went on, I decided I couldn't do it anymore, and I had to just skip and click A as fast as I could to get through all the text because, I wanted to actually build, I wanted to do stuff. I honestly don't know if all this text and hand-holding is ever going to stop, but I really hope it does because it's definitely making me not enjoy the game as much as I could be. I'm not sure if this was an issue in the very first Dragon Quest Builders game because, like I said, I only played the demo for that, but this is definitely something that is noticeable to me and it is affecting my experience. So let me try to explain this a little bit better. So the NPCs are constantly badgering you about how to do things and telling you what to do, which I understand that, for newcomers to Dragon Quest Builders, it makes sense. If you don't know how to do stuff, then you're not going to be able to play. So it makes sense that there's going to be these kind of tutorial things. But to me, it still feels very excessive. And again, they could have easily added a skip or fast forward option for the players, who already really know how to play the game. And these characters often give you several different things to craft for certain objectives, but they go into so much detail every single time on how to create it, where to get the materials and everything. And once you do it one time, you know how to do it. They don't need to keep repeating it, and it's just all so many words. Like, they add too much text to explain such simple things. Like, every interaction takes so long. Like, they could easily have made the dialogue more concise. And okay, some of you guys are probably being like, oh, well, you're just complaining about such a small thing. But, even if it wasn't a problem, let's say I'm just making this up, really the text is fine and I'm the only one who has a problem with it. Why is there no way to skip it? Why can't we skip the cutscenes? Why can't we fast forward through anything? I'm already thinking about, hey, what if I want to start a new file someday? and just go in and create some stuff and have fun. Well, I'm gonna have to sit through all of the dialogue all over again with no way for me to fast forward through it, which is a huge problem that could easily be fixed. So yeah, I just wanted to point out that it's something that is definitely affecting my gameplay experience and something that they could easily fix. They could easily patch in some way to skip cutscenes or fast forward and everything, or skip tutorials and stuff. So, and I don't know if there's eventually going to be just a free mode where you can just go in and build. And obviously, like the islands I have now, I've been able to go back to them and free build on them, but the problem is I don't have a lot of things unlocked. I think you probably have to complete the whole game to get more things. I mean, in my really awesome, cool penthouse suite that I'm making in my one island, the only bed that I have is a straw bed. So, I don't know, like I really want more items to work with, but I feel like I had to finish the game. So, if I have to start a new game and I just want to make stuff, I'm going to have to go through the entire game every time. That's just really something I don't want to do. But obviously, I recommend this game fully, and it is not really meant to be a review here because I've only played it for about 20 hours, but I just wanted to get my thoughts and impressions, out there because I really want to know, like, if anyone else feels the same way that I do. I don't know if I'm the only one, but it really feels like there's just way too much hand-holding, there's just too much text, because ultimately, it's a builder game, and I just, want to build. I want to have fun. I want to build cool structures, and I want to play the game. And I don't want to sit through blocks and blocks of text every time I do one little thing. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think. Like, does anyone else feel like there's just like too much hand-holding and too much dialogue and text? Am I the only one? Am I crazy? Honestly, it feels a little bit more like the recent Pokemon games, just so much like hand-holding and everything. So I really want to know what you guys think though. Like, is this bothering anyone else, or is it just me and I'm crazy and I should just have fun and enjoy the game? But yeah, this game is so addicting, so yeah, I need to get back to it, so if you excuse me.